Why are so many people over 40 getting into content creation? You see it all over YouTube. People in their 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s and older are now content creators. Why is that? Well, let's first talk about content creation in general. Content creation is fun. You get to have a voice, you get to hopefully build a community, you get to talk about your interests, and if you could earn a living doing it, well, that's the American dream, isn't it? Studies have shown that little kids now, they used to want to be firemen or Indian chiefs or astronauts or policemen or even a businessman, and now most kids want to be content creators. It's just part of who we are. We like recognition. Whether or not we want to admit it, most people would like to become quote unquote famous. And if you can become a content creator and earn a living, all the better. But why the sudden explosion of older content creators? Here's the hard truth. They can't get any other jobs. If you've recently been laid off or fired and you're over 40, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to get another job. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, but for sure, the odds are stacked against you. That's just how it is. It's very difficult, despite what you might read about the economy doing well, the economy's booming, et cetera, et cetera. Go on LinkedIn, go on a social media site, and you're going to see tons of older people scared and freaking out because they were laid off or fired. And ageism is a very real thing. It just is. The tech industry isn't hiring, they're laying off people, and they're certainly not going to hire you if you're over 40. If you're over 50, forget about it. So, what are your options? Well, you have a couple, I guess. One of which is you become a freelancer and you offer your services. So let's say you're a graphic designer and you were laid off from the company. Well, what you can do is you can become a freelance graphic designer. But the problem is for all of these people is how do you get clients? Most people aren't good at sales. They're afraid of sales. They don't know how to do it. And that's where the bottleneck is. They have the skills. They just don't know how to get clients and actually build a business. And that really stops them. That's why they're getting into content creation, because they're reading the news. They're seeing that it's exploding, which it is. Content creation is exploding, and it's not showing any signs of slowing down. And they're on YouTube, and they're seeing all these get-rich-quick videos on how to become a YouTuber, and they go for it. And that's the real reason why you're seeing this explosion of older content creators. And it's tough. As we know, can you make a living on YouTube? Sure. But it takes work. You have to have an aptitude for it. You have to know how to film. You have to know how to edit. There's a certain amount of technical skills. Is it impossible? No. Can you make a living? Of course you can. But more than likely, you're not going to. A lot of people start YouTube with big dreams and then quit. And it's hard. It's daunting. And it's going to be especially hard for older content creators. So that's really why you're seeing this whole, start YouTube now over 40, start YouTube now over 50. Why you need to be on YouTube? That's why. Because most of these people can't get jobs in the workplace anymore. They don't have the skill set to get clients for whatever they're good at. I mean, what happens if you don't have a skill and you were just a middle manager type of guy? Then what are you going to do? You're in deep shit. Deep shit. So the plus side of this is that older people have wisdom. They have wisdom about life. They have wisdom about the workplace. And they definitely have stories to tell. Now, whether or not they can translate that into becoming a full-time content creator depends on the individual. It's hard. We all know it's hard. So that's really the hidden truth, the hard truth, why you're seeing so many content creators who are over 40 getting into the YouTube game, because they can't get another job. So my advice to you, if you are over 40 or 50 and getting into content, I mean, I'm an older guy now. I do content creation, I do YouTube videos, but I'm not necessarily looking to earn a living. I make videos for companies. And how do I get my business? I cold call. Now, you definitely don't want to do that. Everyone hates cold calling. Sure, I send out emails and, mass emails, et cetera, but the most success I've had in my business, as, running as an independent business, is picking up the phone and calling. So, my advice, if you're over 40, 50 and you want to get into this YouTube thing, sure, go for it, but try and figure out other ways that you can use all of these years of knowledge and skills you have to earn a living, and try and start to go indie if you can. That's really the best advice. So that's why you're seeing so many older people. I wish them all the best of luck. I hope everybody gets rich, but just be realistic about what you're getting into. Lauren Feldman, 1938media.com.